The story takes place in Los Angeles, October 1990. A young woman named Tina Salvatore is driving alone at night when a mysterious car starts tailing her, appearing out of nowhere, passing her, and stopping ahead at a sign. Trying to stay calm, she keeps going, but the car keeps coming back, making her feel trapped. She pulls into a gas station, hoping for help, but finds it deserted. Her pursuer also pulls over, rummaging through his trunk. Terrified, Tina runs and hides until a truck passes by. In desperation, she runs into the road, forcing the driver to stop. Meanwhile, back in Kern County, Deputy Deke responds to a small complaint from a shopkeeper about a neon sign that keeps getting damaged. Soon after, his boss gives him a task: go to Los Angeles and collect evidence for a murder case. When Deke arrives, he's told by the local captain that the evidence is still in testing and won't be ready until the next day. There, he notices a young detective, Jimmy Baxter, briefing reporters about a string of recent murders, killings that have left the city on edge. While leaving, Deke runs into an old friend, Sal, who offers him a cup of coffee. At the same time, the captain warns Jimmy that he has just 2 days to solve the serial murders before federal agents are brought in. Curious about Deke, Jimmy learns that he was once a top detective in Los Angeles with a reputation for cracking tough cases. Not long after, Jimmy and Sal get a call about another murder, and Jimmy decides to bring Deke along, hoping his experience might help. Together with Detective Jamie Estrada, they arrive at the apartment of the latest victim, Julie Brock. She's been stabbed, bound, and left in a way that suggests the killer returned to move her body after the murder. At the crime scene, Deke spots disturbing similarities to an old case he once worked, one that he never managed to solve. There, he also runs into the coroner, Flo Dunnigan, an old acquaintance who remembers his troubled past. From a vantage point across the street, Deke finds a spot the killer might have used to watch the apartment. The methods are eerily familiar. Victims left naked, tied up with bags over their heads. Later that night, another woman, Rhonda Rathbun, parts ways with her jogging partner and heads home. A brown car, looking just like the one that followed Tina, begins trailing her. The next day, she's reported missing. The following morning, Deke is about to leave town when Jimmy asks him to stay and help with a suspect, Stan Peters, a registered sex offender with a shady past. They bring him in for questioning. When shown a photo of Julie, he gets emotional. Deke, watching from behind the glass, asks Jimmy to bring up another victim, Mary Roberts. Stan reacts in a strange, knowing way. Later, Jimmy finds out Deke once broke Stan's jaw in an earlier encounter. Deke then goes to Flo for more details about Julie. Despite being a strict vegan, her stomach contained bits of roast beef. Even stranger, the killer came back after the murder to alter the crime scene, shaving her legs and moving her body. Deke asks Flo to find him a case file, but she soon realizes the truth. There is no Kern County case. Deke has been chasing the ghost of an old case he failed to close years ago. After their earlier meeting, Deke and Flo sit down for a meal. During their conversation, Flo brings up the old case that ruined Deke's life, showing him a keychain with a spent bullet she kept as a reminder. Later, Deke goes back to Julie's apartment to keep digging for clues. The landlady stops by to check on him, and in their chat, Deke learns that Julie's fridge had broken a week before her murder. A repairman was supposed to come, but never showed. Deke asks her to hand over the leftover beer cans from the fridge to examine them as evidence. With nowhere better to stay, Deke books a shabby room nearby, in an area where sex workers roam the streets at night. There, he pores over old case files again, haunted by the faces of victims, especially one named Mary Roberts, whose image almost seems to come alive in his mind. The next morning, Jimmy gets a warning from his captain about Deke's troubled history. Years ago, his obsession with a similar case led him to a complete breakdown, a heart attack, a divorce, and even triple bypass surgery. The captain advises Jimmy to keep his distance, saying Deke is on leave from his regular duties in Kern County. Meanwhile, Deke visits the appliance store that was supposed to repair Julie's fridge and collects a list of employees. Jimmy, on the other hand, meets Rhonda Rathbun's parents as part of the missing person search. They tell him she often wears a red hair clip while jogging. That night, another woman's body is found under a bridge. Jimmy inspects the scene and confirms it's not Rhonda, but another prostitute. Deke, who quietly follow the squad cars, steps aside with Jimmy. There, Jimmy shares that Stan Peters killed himself the night before. Deke hands him the list of appliance workers and asks for their records to be checked. Jimmy then invites Deke to breakfast with his family the next day. After breakfast, Deke pays a visit to his ex-wife, Marcia. Later, over drinks at a bar, he and Jimmy go over their findings. They realize the killer must drive a lot. His car likely has heavy mileage. They also suspect he gets a twisted pleasure from torturing and killing women, though his methods are careful and controlled. Curious about Deke's past, Jimmy asks about the old case. Deke takes him to the place where those murders happened, pointing out where the bodies were discovered. He admits he still carries the guilt of those victims and is convinced the same person could be behind Julie's murder. Jimmy isn't fully convinced, but doesn't reject Deke's help either. He then hands Deke the files on the repair shop employees. As Deke digs deeper, one name stands out: Albert Sparma, a worker from that shop. Deke pays him a visit and notices his car has the high mileage they suspected. Albert catches him snooping, and Deke pretends he's interested in buying the car, but Albert refuses. Deke secretly takes Albert's trash and finds beer cans matching those from Julie's fridge. Deke even gets Albert's bite marks tested by Flo using a slice of leftover pizza. The marks show some similarities, but aren't a perfect match. The next day, Deke tells Albert. He sees him picking up a prostitute and eating roast beef, adding to his suspicions. Albert, aware of being followed, deliberately teases Deke by parking near the site of one of the earlier murders. Eventually, Albert is brought to the station for questioning. Coincidentally, Tina is also there to report her stalker and seems to recognize him. Inside the interrogation room, Jimmy questions Albert, who stays unsettlingly calm. He admits he's fascinated by serial killers and the case itself. He mocks the detectives, even getting disturbingly excited by the crime scene photos. This provokes Deke, causing him to lose his temper and storm out, cutting the interrogation short. Later, when Jimmy and his partner Jamie show Tina photos of possible suspects, she points out Sparma, but because she saw him in handcuffs earlier, her statement loses its weight. Jimmy is frustrated by this slip. Soon after, the captain tells Jimmy that Albert once gave a false murder confession 8 years ago, casting even more doubt on anything he claims now. After learning about Albert's past and the false confession, Jimmy decides to pay Deke a visit at his shabby hotel room. He's disturbed by the piles of files and evidence from Deke's old case. But despite his doubts, he still asks for his help in bringing Albert down. Deke insists he just needs a few minutes inside Albert's apartment to find proof. They come up with a risky plan. Jimmy calls Albert and lures him out by asking to meet at a nearby cafe. As soon as Albert leaves, Deke sneaks in while Jimmy waits outside. Inside, Deke searches frantically until he uncovers a secret hiding spot beneath the floorboards. There, he finds newspaper clippings connected to the murders they've been investigating. But before he can dig deeper, Albert triggers a police alert, claiming an officer is down. Sirens approach fast, forcing Deke to flee just in time as Albert returns, waving mockingly at Jimmy from his window. The next night, they shadow Albert as he visits a strip club. While Deke steps away to grab coffee, Albert corners Jimmy alone. He offers to take Jimmy to the location of Rhonda's body, and Jimmy, desperate for answers, agrees. Albert tries to leave Deke behind, but Deke spots them and tails them in Jimmy's car. Albert leads Jimmy into the empty desert, playing mind games with him. He points to different spots, making him dig hole after hole, only to reveal he never killed anyone and has been toying with him the whole time. Pushing Jimmy's buttons, Albert insults his family and mocks him for being a failure. Enraged, Jimmy snaps. He hits Albert in the head with a shovel, killing him instantly. Frozen in shock, Jimmy stares at Albert's body as Deke arrives. In that moment, a flashback uncovers Deke's own dark past. Years ago, During a similar investigation, he accidentally shot and killed Mary Roberts, a victim who had survived the attack. His captain and the coroner, Flo, helped cover it up by reporting her as stabbed. Deke takes control of the situation. He tells Jimmy to bury Albert in the desert while he cleans up the evidence, disposing of Albert's car and clearing out his apartment overnight. By morning, Deke returns to see Jimmy still digging, unable to find Rhonda's body, clinging to the hope that Albert really was the killer. Haunted by his own mistakes, Deke advises Jimmy to walk away, take a break, forget the case, and never speak of it again if he wants to stay out of prison. Days later, Jimmy receives an envelope from Deke. Inside is a single red hair clip, just like the one Rhonda wore when she vanished. His silent assurance that Albert was indeed the killer. But back in Kern County, the truth is revealed. Deke burns everything he took from Albert's apartment, along with a brand new pack of red hair clips, the same kind he sent Jimmy. It becomes clear he bought it only to ease Jimmy's guilt, not because he found proof. As the flames consume the evidence, Deke watches in silence, determined to leave the case behind forever.
Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.